Hey everyone, it's Zach from Zach's Reptiles. This video I'm going to do a little tutorial of the Herpstat 6 and kind of go through some of the features and all of that. So stick around, make sure you subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and let's get started. Alright, let's get started. This is the Herpstat 6. Just a little bit of a disclaimer, this is a beta version. I was sent it by Spyder Robotics back before Herpstat 6 actually made it out to the market. I am an authorized dealer for Spyder Robotics. I have been for approximately 10 years. So if you need a herpstat or thermostat or any accessories, go to my website at shop.zgreptiles.com. You can purchase them there. Or if you have any questions, just comment below. You can contact me through the website, or you can email me at zack@zgreptiles.com. Or you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/zgreptiles, and I'll have all the links listed below. All right, so this is the Herpstat 6. Here's the initial display. It has on the left-hand side 1 through 3, then on the right-hand side 4 through 6. So if you actually hit the negative button, you can scroll through different options on what you want your screen to be. I'll just kind of scroll through those for you real quick so you can see them. When you see the percentage, that's actually the percentage going out to your output. So for my heating device, number 6 would be 64%. I actually don't have anything plugged into that because the output 1 is actually controlling this incubator. I just have that to give me another estimate on the temperatures inside the incubator at another spot. So you've got your high and low alarms for different outputs. Just scroll through these real quick. All the way down to 6. Gives your system information. And there we go, we're back to the main screen. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna hit the menu button right here. And let's go to the system settings first. You wanna select that. And right here, if you go to display, you can select if you want Fahrenheit or Celsius. I'm in the United States, I always use Fahrenheit. You can set the time to your thermostat. Positive is for hours, negative is for minutes. And to get to PM, you just kind of scroll through until you go 1 to 12 and it'll switch to AM. So we're not going to change that because that is all correct. Same thing for the date. You can set the month, day, and year. You really want to do this as soon as you plug it in, because once you start your night drops, if you use them or anything like that, this will actually tell it when to turn on and off. So let's just hit the enter button until you get out of it. Scroll down to security. You can actually lock the thermostat to where you need a password to get into it and change any settings. So if you go 0000, it disables that password, or you can set it however you'd like. I'm not going to set a password because I'm the only one that uses this thermostat. And you just hit enter and it goes to the next character. Then after the last character, hit it one more time and it tells me that it's disabled because it's all zeros, and it goes back to this setting. Go down to sounds. You can turn off that beeping. I always leave it on. It's just something I like. Now let's go to hardware. This is kind of an important screen right here. Test hardware. What that's going to do is you plug in a light in all the outputs, and what it'll do, and I'll actually hit it right now. I don't have a light plugged in, but I'll show you what it does. It goes through every single output and turns it on and off to make sure that output is working properly. So it's going through, now it's at output 3, turns it on, turns it off, and we'll just go through that all the way through 6. Then it's actually gonna test the clock as well. So we're almost done with this part. Just testing the relay. And that safety relay in these herpstats are really, really good option to have. It comes with all the standard models, so herpstat 1, 2, 4, 6, and also the Intro Plus. All right, now that we've already tested that, I'm not going to go through this setting right here. Most people are not going to use it. And if you are going to use it, you'll already know what you're doing. So I'm not going to go through that. The average user does not use that. Safety. This is the relay. So you can set it where on any error, the outputs will turn all off. So if there's ever any error on this, I have it set to where it will turn off. And the reason I do that is if there is a system malfunction on the herpstat, which is not very common, but anytime you deal with electronics, there is a slight possibility of that. I do not want my thermostat to fail in the on position. This will make it so it fails in the off position. Oop, I let that go too long, so let's get back to it. So just hit menu. We're already at systems. Go back down to hardware and safety. All right, so you can actually switch that however you like. I have it on any error. You can do it specific errors, individual outputs, and all that. So I'm not gonna mess with this one too much, but that does give you the option in order to change it if you'd like. There you go, get back to that. And this is a setting that you have to do when you receive your thermostat, and it's best to do it as soon as you plug it in. You can adjust the LED brightness. So right now I've got it at 80%, 100% is a little bit brighter, and all that. I like it at 80%. I don't like it too bright, but there we go. Let's get out of that. And that's for the hardware section. So we're going to back out of that. If you have any real issues with it, the first thing you want to do is just do a master reset and reset everything to see if all your settings are back to where they need to be. But let's not do that right now. Okay, so you've got six outputs on here, and one, two, you reset, but that's okay. So 1 through 6 will all do heating, cooling, and lighting. You do have simulated sunrise, sunset features for your lighting. You do have ramping for your heating, so it doesn't just turn on automatically. It'll ramp that temperature up within however amount of minutes that you set it at, and we'll go through that here in a minute. And then outputs 3 and 4, you also have the ability to use humidity. So you can have your humidity probe, you can do a scheduled humidity, or you can do a hybrid in between the two. So since I'm using 1, let's go to output 2. I'm gonna go through the settings right here. So right now I've got it disabled. I can have it heat dimming, which is a proportional thermostat. It'll adjust the temperature as needed, or adjust the output as needed. Pulsing will turn it on and off. Cooling. Lighting, you can do on and off, or you can do dimming. So that is outputs 1, 2, 5, and 6. So let's go to the heating. Let's go to heat dimming. Select, enter. It tells me it's changed. Now you can set your daytime temperature. You can do it within 1/10 of a degree. So there we go. You can set your night cycle. And this is where the clock really comes in handy. So let's turn the night cycle on just by clicking enter. And now we can set our night temperature. So let's say right now it's set at 85, which is the day temperature. Let's drop it down to, say, 82. Hit enter. Now you go down, night cycle start. So you got, this is where the clock comes in again, is right now it's set to start at 10 p.m. That's fine. Let's go to night control end. This is when it's gonna go back to your day temperature. I'm going to leave it at 8 a.m. So it's a 12 and 12 cycle. Now, here's where the ramping comes in. And this tells you pretty much you want it to go from your temperature within 15 minutes. So you want it to ramp up for 15 minutes until it hits that desired temperature. You can set it for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. It goes in 15-minute intervals, or you can turn it off. We'll set it at 30 minutes. And now that output is set. You just click back and back. So now output 2 is set for 85 degrees in the daytime, 82 degrees at nighttime, and a 12-12 temperature swing. I don't have a probe in there right now, so it's going to give me an error. See, it says missing. So let's turn that off while we go through here, since I am not using it. Just go to output disabled. So that's going to be pretty much all 1 through 6. But let's go to number 3, output number 3. This is where it gets a little bit different because you have the humidity option. So you've got humidity scheduled, where you can tell it when to turn on and off, which that's pretty much like a timer for a misting system or a fogging system. Sensed is where you use an actual probe, and it'll turn on and off as needed to keep that humidity where you want it. And a hybrid version, which is exactly like it states. It's kind of like a mixture of the two, and pretty much if it's scheduled, if it doesn't need to turn on, it's not going to turn on. So let's go to sensed, or actually let's go to the hybrid. This will give you a little bit more options here. And it's all going to look the same on this screen between the 3 different options for humidity. However, certain options will be disabled if you use, let's say, scheduled or sensed. But we are using a humidity probe. You will need this for either the hybrid function or the sensed function, and this is an additional accessory. It does not come with your unit. So mode, we've already got set to the hybrid. RH percentage, this is our percentage of humidity. So let's just set that at, say, let's go to 45. Schedule. So you can have it check it at certain slots and certain times throughout the day. Let's see, 9 different sections. So there's that. Slot 1, disabled, you can tell what time. Again, positive is hours, negative is minutes. It goes in 5-minute intervals. Click enter. Right. Again, there's 1. Okay. And then back. You can also do high-low alarms. So if it gets too humid in your enclosure that you have that probe set at, it'll give you an alarm, or low humidity as well. Sensor adjust, you're really not going to use this. This is to try to match up with another sensor or probe that you have. Let's say if you have a hydrometer going at 45% and your thermostat's reading 43% and you want it to read 45%, you can change that, but most times the Herpstat is more accurate than some of the other ones, so I wouldn't touch that. Swing. This means it's going to give you a 5% swing. So if you've got it at 45% humidity, it'll try to keep it between 50 and 40. So 5% each direction. And then duration is because it is a hybrid. So it'll check the humidities in between certain times, and that's when it'll check it to see if it needs to go on and off, and it'll tell you how long you want it to go on and off for. Go. Let's back out of this and let's exit the menu just to kind of show you. Exiting the menu, and now you can see that the probe is actually reading 40%. So it's within that 5% swing. Again, that's option or output 3 and 4 have that ability. 1, 2, 5, and 6 are just heating, cooling, and lighting. So we've gone through the humidity, we've gone through the heating. Let me turn off that because I'm not actually using it. Mode all the way down to disable. Okay. So now let's change it to lighting. You have lights on and off or lights dimming. Let's go to the dimming option. All right, daylight. You can actually adjust how bright you want this for the daylight. So say if your bulb plugged into the outlet is too bright for what you want, you can actually lower that. Night cycle. Again, just like the heating, you've got your night cycle on or off. You've got, if you have a nightlight, brightness. So you can have the brightness for your nighttime. Instead of being 100% in the daytime, you can have it 10% at nighttime. Tell it when you want it to actually drop. When you want it to come back up to daylight lighting, then ramping. This is kind of a neat feature. Again, it's the 15 minutes, kind of like in the heating, but what this does is it gradually turns on your light. So instead of just flipping a switch, turning it right on, it'll fade on. That way it kind of gives it kind of a simulated sunrise and sunset feature. That's really kind of neat on animals that really do utilize that feature. So there's that. Let's see what else we can do. Let's go back because we're out of that. Minimum power. So if you want to always have a minimum power, you can set that to whatever percentage you want. If you're setting it where you have your nighttime at 5% and your daylight at 100%, it's never going to go below that 5%. So that's really on just, I've never used it. I don't ever plan to use it. So let's go back. Actually, let's disable that because we're not using that either. Let's go to cooling real quick. This is going to be very similar to your heating. Again, you've got your day temperatures, your night cycle, your alarms, sensor adjust, which is not something you're really going to use. The thermostat has a better probe and it'll read that temperature quite a bit better than most thermometers out there. And that's the majority of the features that will be used on the thermostat. I know there is a lot of other features on here, but these are kind of the main ones. And those are mostly what you're going to use when you set this up. If you want to learn more about it, you can read the manual. I'll actually attach that below as well. Make it a little bit easier for you guys to find. And exit the menu. And there you have it. If you've got any questions, comment below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to see any other tutorials or any animals in specific, just let me know and I will try to make those videos for you. Thanks for watching.